Alright, so the much anticipated Cocaine Bear is finally released in theaters. It's directed by Elizabeth Banks, who a lot of people might know for acting in films such as the Hunger Games films, as well as the Pitch Perfect films. But some of you might not be aware that she's actually directed other films before. She directed Pitch Perfect 2, as well as 2019's Charlie's Angels, and I'm always down to support an actor turned director. And essentially the plot of the film is cocaine gets dropped from this plane, ends up in the woods, a bear gets a hold of it, gets high on cocaine, and goes on a drug-fueled rage. Along with that, you have a goofy cast of characters all converging in the forest for one reason or another. You have one mom who's looking for her children. You have the drug runners looking for the cocaine. Along with that, you have the drug boss. You also have a cop looking for all of them. You have just the worst teenagers in the world and a no-nonsense park ranger. Now, even before I saw a trailer for this film, all I needed was the title and the synopsis, and that was enough for me to know that I needed to see this movie. And once I saw that trailer, it only heightened my anticipation. But did I set my expectations up a little bit too high? I'm gonna have to say yeah, a little bit. That's not to say I don't like this movie, because I very much do. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I had a very fun theater-going experience with this movie, but I'm also not going to shy away from talking about the film's issues. Before I go any further, I do want to mention who's in the movie. In the cast, we have Kerry Russell as Sarai. She's the mother looking for the children. As the two children, we have Brooklyn Prince as Dee Dee and Christian Convery as Henry. As the two drug runners, we have Alden Ehrenreich as Eddie and O'Shea Jackson Jr. as David. Playing the character Sid, the drug boss, we have the late great Ray Liotta. As the cop, Bob, we have Isaiah Whitlock Jr. Ranger Liz is played by Margot Martindale. Got a really fun cast in here, and all the characters in here are absolutely insane, which I think perfectly complements just how insane the premise alone is. If I didn't already say it, this is very loosely based on true events. Essentially what actually happened is a guy with a parachute jumped out of a plane, had a bunch of cocaine on him, and the parachute didn't deploy, so he went kaput on the ground. And the cops found him with all the cocaine on him, and the plane ended up crashing over in the mountain area. A bear got a hold of it and essentially died from the cocaine. Did not go on a drug-fueled rampage, instead died, you know, like a normal animal probably would after ingesting that much cocaine. And I feel like there's still going to be people going into this movie thinking stuff like this actually happened, when in fact it really did not. I mean, could this stuff actually happen? Maybe, who am I to say, but at the same time, it's not very probable. Going into it, that's the one thing you should know, is that basically none of the stuff that happens in this movie actually happened in real life. Also, this should go without saying, but don't take this film too seriously, because the film itself doesn't take itself seriously. And also, having this big CGI bear, it's hard to take that seriously because obviously it doesn't look real most of the time. It's convincing enough, especially with the acting in the film. It makes it even more convincing, but at the same time, it doesn't look real enough to make the stakes feel high enough. I never really felt scared of the bear because I never really felt like it was a threat, because obviously it doesn't look that real. But again, with the acting in the film, it does make it more convincing that they are actually being attacked by a bear. But I think another thing that brings the stakes down very low is that there's just way too many characters in this movie. And with having so many different characters, there's only so much story that you can do for the main characters that you really want to focus on. You have all these other subplots going on throughout the film that, of course, are fun, especially that ambulance scene where the bear is chasing the ambulance. That's one of the most fun scenes in the entire movie. But it does take away from what could be a really good story with the two main groups of people that you have in the beginning. In particular, I would have liked them to go a little bit deeper with the plot with Kerry Russell's character and the kids, because Kids in Danger, like I said in my review for Snakes on a Plane, adds so much more weight to what's going on in the film and raises the stakes so much higher. But in this film, even though you have kids being chased by a drug-fueled bear, it still doesn't feel like they're in danger. But the two characters I'd say the film focuses on the most is Eddie and David. These characters kind of remind me of Lemon and Tangerine from Bullet Train. Just a couple of buddies stuck doing a dirty job. I also want to mention the two child actors in here, Brooklyn Prince as Dee Dee and Christian Convery as Henry. These kids are young actors on the rise. I can already see a good future for them. Brooklyn Prince in particular, I recognized her from The Florida Project, which I'd recommend checking out. But they were both absolutely hilarious, and the things they had these kids do in the movie is absolutely insane. But lastly, when it comes to Ray Liotta's character, I honestly didn't care for his character in here. He kind of came in a little late in the film, and by the time he came in, you already have way too many characters in the movie, so it just felt like one extra story you didn't really want to see. That being said, this is probably his last performance put to screen, so this is one that we definitely have to appreciate. All these human characters are absolutely insane, kind of cartoony at times, even more cartoony than the bear itself. Which brings me back to the bear itself. The bear is the best part of the movie. When it comes to the humans, you don't really care. When it comes to the bear, you're having a great time. At the end of the day, I bought a ticket for this movie to see a bear on cocaine, and that is what I got, so I can't say I'm fully disappointed. But I also can't say I don't think the film could have done a lot more. Overall, it's a very funny, very gory film that I think is a very good experience on the big screen with a big audience. But when it comes to watching it outside of the theater, is it going to have the same effect? I really don't feel like it's going to, but I could be wrong. For those reasons, when it comes to my ranking, I'm going to have to go ahead and give this a standard ticket. Cocaine Bear is definitely worth the price of admission, but is it worth buying on VOD, Blu-ray, and DVD? Maybe not quite. But what did you think of Cocaine Bear? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? I very much like this film. I had a lot of fun with it. But again, it still has some issues that I can't ignore. Have you not seen it? Are you planning on watching it anytime soon? Why or why not? Comment that down below. Really, any comments you have for me, I'd love to hear from you. I respond to pretty much all of them. Do me a favor and leave a like on the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload, and I will see you in the next one.